K1 visa interviews. I know for the people who are going through the fiance visa process, or any process, any of our couples going through the immigration process, it's stressful, and the waiting is seriously, I know it's the hardest part. And so I have had a lot of couples, a lot of individuals in our Facebook group, YouTube channel, clients, everybody is asking, are K1 visa interviews being scheduled? What is going on with K1 visa interviews? And I wanted to make this video to let you know, first and foremost, yes, K1 visa, fiance visa interviews, yes, they are being scheduled. We are seeing that the way that they are being scheduled, historically, before COVID, when you would do a fiance visa, you would actually be able to get online and schedule your interview for your fiance visa. But with COVID, embassies and U.S. embassies and consulates closing, and there weren't interviews occurring. And then they started, as the world started to try to open back up and U.S. embassies and consulates started to open back up, they were slowly starting to schedule interviews. There's just such a large backlog at all U.S. embassies and consulates that it's slow, right? You all know that it's slow for those interviews to be scheduled, but they are definitely being scheduled. We help hundreds and hundreds of couples and navigating the immigration process, and we are having couples being scheduled for their fiance visa interviews. And so while I mentioned you used to be able to get in and select your date, now what we are seeing happening is the U.S. embassies and consulates are sending an email letting you know, hey, you've been scheduled for your fiance visa interview. They're just scheduling people because they're in a state of triage right now, and they're working on getting through the backlog in any way they can. And so and by they, I mean the U.S. embassies and consulates, they are scheduling individuals for their interviews, and we are receiving emails, as I mentioned, saying, yeah, you've been scheduled for your interview, take these next steps. And so that is when you would be filling out, additional paperwork, additional forms, and preparing for that interview, medical exams, and all of that. So yes, we are seeing interviews being scheduled. And just to give you an overview, I had a couple people in our Facebook community. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not part of our Facebook community, we have a private, if I can talk today, we have a private Facebook group, Immigration for Couples. And in this group, we provide a community of support, and all of the couples are able to share their stories and provide emotional support to one another. And so in this private Facebook group, in this community, I've had a lot of couples asking about certain embassies. Specifically, I know everyone who's going through a fiance visa process or a spouse visa process through Manila, through the Philippines. A lot of individuals is asking what's going on with that specific consulate. And typically, I don't give specific consulate information just because it varies so much. But today, I wanted to give you some numbers to help you understand. So there is a video that I made about how to check fiance visa, or just really statistics for any type of visa, not just fiance visas, spouse visas, any type of case. You can actually check the statistics of that embassy or consulate online. And so I have a separate video I can link to where I walk through that process. And really you're looking at how many cases were decided in months prior. The U.S. embassies and consulates don't have something like USCIS where they can give you an estimated time that you have to wait. And so in June, that's the statistics that they have available. So in June of 2021, Manila had that they call adjudicated or decided 50 K1, so 50 fiance visas, and 31 K2s, which are children that are coming with the future intended spouse. And so that's low for the Philippines. And so when you check on their website, the Philippines, they have that basically routine visa services are suspended, and they're trying to triage. They're trying to do as many cases as they can every month. Manila, the Philippines, they have a very high volume consulate. They have many, many people that are going through there. So yes, that is a low number, but The important thing is, yes, interviews are being scheduled, just at a slow rate. And then to give you an idea, other countries I had checked on that. Paris, they had 30 fiance visas that had interviews. Colombia had 42, Germany 25, Guatemala 2. So it really just varies. It varies so much by each U.S. embassy and consulate. It depends on their volume. It depends on what's happening on the ground with COVID, staffing. There's just so many factors to take into consideration that it's hard to just give a general answer of when you will get an interview. And so we look back at those statistics, and we also see with, like I said, the hundreds of clients we're helping, we start to get a feel for how things are moving. And one of the other embassies that I wanted to highlight is in Mexico. So something that Mexico has, that the U.S. has done in Mexico with U.S. embassies is that there's an embassy, a consulate rather, it's a U.S. consulate in Ciudad Juarez. And that's really historically been the main place that interviews occurred for spouse and fiance visas. What they have done is they actually have another consulate, and a U.S. consulate in Mexico City. And so recently, immigration made an announcement, U.S. immigration made an announcement, hey, we're actually going to start processing and scheduling interviews in Mexico City too. And so once that happened, we have started seeing interviews being scheduled much, much faster. And in Mexico, that's the highest volume consulate in the world. They just have so many people that are going through, and it had a huge backlog, estimated usually more than 2 years for couples and fiancés going through the process. And now with moving them to Mexico, between Mexico and Ciudad Juarez, they've done over 400 interviews, and we are seeing those being scheduled much faster. So while somebody from one country might get their fiance visa interview, it might take a year or it might take 6 months. It really depends on so many factors. But again, my point is just to let you know that we are seeing interviews being scheduled. Pay attention to your email. They will send you an email, and we are seeing that they're giving pretty minimal notice, usually 2 to 3 weeks. So just be as ready as you possibly can, have the documents ready that you can. And I know you're already probably checking your email multiple times a day and checking status online. So keep doing that. And I hope you get an interview soon and hope that helps.